we will call January 21st Osage County Commission meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone. Morning. Okay. Right down to business. Roll call. All three commissioners are present, and Michelle Morris is present. Josh and I is available by phone. Additions or deletions to the agenda?
Laura, the treasurer, said she was going to give an update on distributions, maybe? So add her.
And I have her employee status change for too.
I will add her under new business for distribution update. And payroll form. I know with the IT, we may reserve a couple executive sessions, just for some, private information, essentially, when we're talking the hard numbers. I don't know if we need to add any of that, just so you guys are aware. Is there anything I'm missing? That being said, I will need a motion to approve the agenda with the additions.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I feel like at this point, reorganization, we need to get bumped before the meeting proceeds any further, i.e. the public comment. We need to appoint a chair. We kind of kicked this off last week, just so we can get some more information and visit with some folks and get some ideas. So here we are today and having a hard discussion. So I will open the floor at this time for any nominations for chair or discussion.
If you don't mind, I think the chair has become something that it wasn't intended to be. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to just rotate the chair position around. But, I mean, no one of us has any power apart from the whole. You know, and I think in the past, after talking with some of the, I didn't get to talk to everybody, but I talked to some, that there's been promises or demands or threats even that kind of come across. And I want to remind everybody, but as individuals, we have no authority at all. And if the employees are listening or constituents or whoever, that's how it works. I mean, you can tell them, Brandon said that you don't have to listen to him unless it's as a body. You know, going on from there, the employees do seem to, this commission has a long way to go as far as regaining trust and confidence with the staff. And one thing that they really are afraid of, or things get complicated by change. And so that was something that kept coming up. Now, I don't know how to say it real nice, but nobody on the commission got a shining review. Everybody had personal experiences or opinions. So, in the interest of keeping things the same, just because that seemed to be what the one of the underlying themes of the employees was, I'm going to nominate Les to remain chair, but I don't see why going forward this would have to be such a big contention. I would hope by this time next year that the employees and everybody's on the same page, and the other elected officials are on the same page, and everything is smooth sailing, and it's just a matter of course. And I don't care to get any of the specifics that happened in the past because I wasn't here. But moving forward, I'd sure like to see us work as a whole.
Very good. Discussion? Heather?
No, I mean, I feel after 4 years that I'm capable and confident
Yeah.
that I could do it. I think with 4 years of experience, I would be qualified to do that. Like I said last week, I would be willing to do that also, but I would like the support of the both of you. Over the last 3 years, I didn't have support
Yeah.
of the other 2 people, and so if I served in the role, I would want the support of both of you.
Yeah, and I think that, reading into the situation, that seems to be, it was a trickle-down effect where there wasn't a lot of mutual support, and then so that trickled out through, everybody fed off of that. So
Yeah.
I'd like to remedy that. If I can get nothing else done in 4 years, I'd sure like to rebuild those bridges.
I really like what you said, not because it's nomination for chair, but what you just said is exactly what my attempt to do, and one of the whole reasons that I've ran as a commissioner. There was a lot of disdain and dissent. There has been people in this room that didn't like me. There were some people that demanded I step down as chair. There was a lot of things and a lot of hateful things, and I've always tried to tell people that we all believe that we're just trying to do what's right. So I try to give everybody that same respect. With that being said, I agree, and I think we can work through this year and get it to where people do trust this whole commission as a whole, and then the chair position won't even be as big a deal. It can shuffle from person to person to person, and it'll just be another person running the meetings and communicating with the employees. So with that being said, if there are no other nominations or discussion, I will second the nomination. I'll need a motion to approve Les to remain chair, myself to remain as chair at this time.
Said you need a motion?
I'll need a motion to approve that nomination.
So moved.
We'll need a second. And for lack of support, I will second the motion. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Les will retain the chair. I do appreciate it, and Heather, I understand your sentiments. I just stand really firmly at this time, and I appreciate the confidence. I know we all have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do myself. With that being said, I would like to move into public comment. Mr. Reginald, are you Dale's brother?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am on the agenda, right? Or are you just gonna take me in for the comment?
I don't have you on the agenda. I was
Because
told.
I went up to when I got the tags the other day, I went into the deal and put my name on the list for the agenda anyway, so.
Okay. I know Michelle was out with surgery, so that probably got overlooked, but, we can write you on in this public comment, and we can handle your issue right now in public comment.
Well, I was in here probably, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, I don't know, and talking about
What was his name?
Gary Reginald.
talking about the truck traffic going into the transfer station. We have quite a few commercial carriers that are using a township road. Well, township roads are only funded by the taxpayers in that township, no other place. So we're the ones totally responsible for that, the maintenance on that road. When you look up maintenance on gravel roads, one of the things that they talk about in that deal online is heavy truck traffic. And if any of you are old enough to remember back before KDOT, started really resurfacing the highways like they should, you used to see truck ruts running right down the deal where you could almost just let go of the steering wheel and just keep going. That's how much truck traffic affects the road, and even more on a gravel road. So with those trucks going to a county facility, and I've read the state statute or the laws for transfer stations, and it says that there is supposed to be a well-maintained road going in there. And there is with the county road that is being maintained by the county. Therefore, I see no reason why there can't be a dedicated truck route with signage. And actually, I would like to say it's either a statute or a law that it goes into effect as that. And if a carrier doesn't follow that truck route, that they could be fined. Because those commercial carriers are making money by going to that. I mean, when they pick up trash around the county, they are actually making money. It's a money-making deal for them. And so that they're deteriorating the township road. And I talked to Jay Burkett the other day. He said he was gonna try to make it, depends on how busy he was, you know, but he says he's been in contact with the commissioners over here numerous times. And so this is my second time in here. And I suppose, I think it's, to me, it's a no-brainer why these trucks aren't running on the county road. And they are coming, you know, it depends on which route you're coming from, but if they're coming down 31 from the east, well, they're gonna take the shortest route there. You know, back in the late 80s and early 90s, that road wasn't gravel, it was nothing but a dirt and mud road. Well, they sure as hell wasn't gonna take it then, but once the township got gravel on it, well, hell yes, we're gonna take that damn shortcut and take that way. And we'll break down your roads.
I'd like to apologize to you, actually. I do remember this conversation, and I thought that we had talked with Ryan a little bit, and he was to put together a plan, because I do agree. I think that we should maintain
Yeah,
that portion.
he stopped by my place one time.
Did he?
He bought something off of Facebook from me, and he stopped by and picked it up, and so we chatted for a little bit about other things, and I couldn't help myself, I had to bring it up.
Yeah.
So we chatted about it, but now he told me that he's talked to KDOT about getting signs up there, on the highway. But I'm wanting to make this more official. I mean, there's cities, and I'm not sure, there might be some counties, if you Google, road, what did I just say, truck routes in the state of Kansas. There's cities, maybe some counties too, that actually have dedicated truck routes, and they're a statute, they're a law, and there's no reason why Osage County couldn't do the same thing. And as far as, coming in off of, down here, you could add Urish from the north too, I mean, if you want to.
Right.
But there's no reason. And, well, when I talked to the individual down at the transfer station, he says, well, there's a couple houses north of where I live that, he says, oh, well, they'll go over there and pick that up. And I don't have a problem with that, but when they're just flat coming off the highway and just using the township road as a shortcut, no. Don't do that. Take the county road that's maintained for a county facility.
Yeah, I know, actually getting tickets and fines, put out, it's gonna be the more difficult part. We'll have to visit with the sheriff and update him and let him know. That's always the point of contention with him, because he's gotta have somebody
You
there.
know what, I live on that road, so I wouldn't have a problem making citizens arrest and reporting and going right to them.
Yeah. But I think we'll get Ryan in here and visit. We need to have this on the agenda, Michelle, at least a visit with Ryan and see what it takes, because I don't disagree. We should
Well,
at
that was
least
what you
maintain it.
said there, I mean, initially I was gonna say, when I came in here, I don't know, I have to come in here again, so I was almost wanting to hear a motion, a second, and a vote here today, but I guess that's not gonna happen.
Well, we can't do it that way if we're gonna do it responsibly.
If it's gonna be a statute or a law, then it
Right.
has to be done.
We need a resolution.
And a resolution, and probably gotta go through the county attorney too, maybe, or something, I don't know.
We'll go through commission attorney.
Commission
And
attorney.
if Josh was here, we probably could have done a little bit more research on it today, but we'll have him draw up the resolution. I wanna do some sort of, find more information, get exact numbers on the length of the road, yada, 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 so we can make sure it's done right.
All right, am I gonna have to come back in here again, or do you guys have my phone number, you can give me a call?
You're always welcome to come visit, but I think we can handle this business without you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So, I don't know when you're gonna talk to about it next, though, so in other words, I'm just gonna have to make an effort to come back over here again sometime, you know?
And we record the meetings too, you're more than welcome to
Right.
watch them, but when I ask Michelle to add it to the agenda, unless I give her a specific date, she typically adds it to the next agenda.
So next week, then we discuss it.
But now, with that being said, we have some information we need to gather before,
Right,
you know, we sit down and put the stamp on it.
okay. Well, I got the ball.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone here, public comment? You ladies, public comment? You don't have to reserve comment in here, it's open forum. With that being said, I will close public comment at this time. All right. IT discussion. We have two of our bid providers in. Make sure I got the right folder. So I think we're doing diligence, in my opinion. Obviously, I started this a long time ago because I didn't like the way the IT was being handled in our county. I feel like IT a lot of times is an issue that isn't taken seriously due to ignorance, if for lack of better terms. The IT world is changing. It's changing drastically. It has changed drastically. It's not word processors anymore. It's people can get into the right little key and a little switch and take everything you have, delete all your information. The state suffered a huge loss this past year, due to some IT mishaps. So the biggest reason for bringing this up is to ensure that Osage County is safe with our IT. So with that being said, we put out an RFP for IT solutions. It has been molded, and I was fine with that. I think now we are looking to have a centralized IT, someone that controls the overall health and security of the county and servers. And I know that we're gonna have some elected officials that are gonna pick their own people. But at the end of the day, when we select the company that we want, whoever those elected officials choose is going to need to work with that person. I believe that needs to be set as policy. At this time, I'll open the floor to discussion from either of you. Put in your words, your opinions, your facts, and then I think since there's only two of them here today, I think it would be fitting to have an interview in executive session with each contractor, and then come out and make a decision from there. What? Am I missing one? Okay. And I don't know if is Sonny here today?
I would see him.
Okay. If he is, we may send him a notice, just to let him know. So at this time, I'll open the floor up to discussion. Any thoughts, ideas?
Well, I think the
Agree,
directive
disagree?
given was that they could visit to try to refine more of what might be, how many departments they were actually, I guess, encompassing, because since some aren't going to, they're gonna have someone else besides at least these two for sure. So I think that might have changed the price structure because they were pricing it somewhat on the number of users or something to that effect. So I think that's where we left it, where they were gonna be visiting with the departments to kind of try to determine that. I don't know if on our end we need to refine that for them to be able to bid that closer.
I don't understand why we're kicking this can down the road again. I'm hearing what you're saying, and it sounds like we just keep molding and changing. It's a nightmare for these contractors.
No, I was asking if they had any information for us, because they were gonna go talk, And then they were gonna represent to us.
Hence the interview process with each contractor. Thoughts?
When going around talking with department heads and other elected officials, it did seem like everybody had their own preference. And some of them lined up and some of them didn't, so I'd be interested to see what the proposals look like, because, you know, like you mentioned, it's gonna be kind of a centralized, and then with peripherals.
Right.
I think we're gonna have at least 5 total, because the sheriff has their own.
Yeah,
District court has their own, county attorney has their own. And then whoever we use as a centralized person.
yeah.
And then a couple departments or more, I don't know, are gonna use Sunny.
Right.
And then I'm guessing the clerk will use Helix. So we're gonna at least have 5,
Yeah.
I have,
so.
9 departments involved in this RFP, 6 departments who want different IT direction. 2 departments don't want to keep them the same, and 1 that's really not opinionated, and that was the health department. And then some of those that were included in the RFP actually have completely different IT contracts in play right now.
Yeah.
And that's Road and Bridge and the department across from Road and Bridge, they're managed by K-State. It's a whole different situation.
Frontier Extension Office.
Yeah, extension office.
Oh, so Road and Bridge has a different IT person also?
In
Who's
that
that?
facility, but waste management, because Ryan does both of those, does not. So it's a little, it was interesting going around talking to everybody, but we did our rounds on Friday to talk to everybody, and, you know, so I think the interview's a good idea, just get an impression for you three on how that went. And,
Who's the IT that in Road and Bridge?
Networks Plus.
Yeah, Networks Plus.
And they have a contract with them?
And they did Road and Bridge because that's initially who the sheriff went with, and they've been kind of collaborating since they're so close in proximity, and that was the feeling I got. And, but they're not looking for any changes unless the sheriff, unless that whole facility made a change. I don't see them even wanting to even hear about it. But then you got the extension office, and they're actually funded by K-State, but it's a county operation. It's very interesting out there, but and they're getting to the internet next week, but they said Networks supposed to be out there to make sure nothing goes wrong, but I did volunteer to assist, just to make sure, because that whole office is interesting. I thought it was different going in, but after going out there, yeah, it's interesting. Extension gets their funding from K-State, but it's a county operation, so they even were a little confused on, why I was there, or, what they need, because the computers and stuff, and the email accounts, it's not Osage, Osage.org, it's
Right.
K-State, so. And then across the road and bridge, after speaking with Ryan made it seem like Sonny was helping them out, but you go in there and you get shot. The look, what are you doing? It's about Networks Plus, it's because of the sheriff's office, and if they ever have an issue, Networks Plus, I don't even think goes out there, it's actually Brett from the sheriff's department goes out and helps them out. And I know Brett from Burlingame, he's a good guy, and so that's how they're keeping things afloat over there, but not saying that changes here won't help affect things there, but, so I'm glad we're doing interviews and, get the county in the right direction and show some leadership in that.
I know one of the things that was on there was something about consolidating servers, and so I did have a question on that. I talked to the 3 individuals about the thought of that, and I got 3 different answers from the 3 of you on whether it was necessary or what their thoughts were. I do know that we have one server that we had set up probably 2 years ago that is for all of the off-site offices or anyone that's remoting in, so they have access to CIC. And so if we're consolidating servers, if we find out that's what we do need to do, how does that affect that to where all those off-site departments would still be able to remote in? The way I understand is,
So
even if we went,
your networks are all isolated, right? They all are segmented and operate separately. You don't have firewalls or anything in your other offices, so you don't have opportunities for VPN services back and forth, communications between this office and your satellite offices. And so I don't know how you're controlling remote access access to those servers now. We weren't able to really uncover that. And again, I don't know if these are conversations you want to have publicly or privately.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting, as we're getting into the nuts and bolts, I just kind of wanted to open it up to some basic comment, but now that we're kind of getting into the nuts and bolts, I think we need to move into executive session under IT information, and we'll do each one of you separate. So I don't know if you want to draw straws, or does it matter who wants to go first? Paper, rock, scissors.
You go first.
That's nice of you. So at this time, I would like to, I would move we enter into an executive session. We'll start with Donnie, right? With Donnie Hanson of Century. Make sure you have your folder, for a matter of 10 minutes. And we'll start at 10 minutes with each. And we'll try to give everybody an equal amount of time. So, motion is to enter an executive session with Donnie Hanson of Century under IT information, private information, proprietary information, yeah. So, second?
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 9:37. executive session. So, at this time, I would like to thank you both for putting in the work that you guys put in. It's an eye-opener, and I was really happy to see you guys took the time and dug in and figured out kind of what the issues to bring a good, fair proposal. I would move we enter into an executive session for 10 minutes under IT proprietary information with just the 3 commissioners at this time.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. 10:21. well, after long deliberation and a lot of thought, a lot of kicking things around, I will need a motion to approve awarding the IT contract to Century Business Technologies for an annual contract in the amount stated herein of, sorry, let me get to the page.
It might be in his other one. That
No,
was
it's in
the,
this one.
It's 4,990.
Yeah, in the amount of 49, there it is right there. $4,997 annually, and that is for a 1-year agreement. I'll need a motion to approve that.
so moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you guys for your hard work. Thank you for everything you've done.
What should I do next steps? Just reach out later? or-
Next steps, yes, provide us with maybe your template agreement. We're gonna have to send it over to Josh, get it forwarded to him for review,
Okay.
and then we'll do the signing and stuff like that next week.
Okay, Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you.
Johnny, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get, can we get Laura down here? Hey Laura, this is Les. Are you available for your spot on the commission meeting? Okay, thank you.
I was gonna ask him this one I meant to ask before.
What,
Is this in regards to herself?
her contract,
Okay. Is she an employee or contract employee? 'Cause-
contract employee,
Okay. 'Cause,
annual, started and stopped in February.
yeah, I don't think we can do that in executive.
Huh?
I don't know if we can,
We negotiated it in executive session. Absolutely. But if you would like to do it when Josh is here,
well, I saw that on there last night, so I asked him, because I couldn't remember if she was an employee or a contract employee, and I said, can a contract employee call an executive session for themselves? And he said, no. He said they're an employee.
well,
So I
they're
don't
not
know.
calling it themselves.
Well,
I
then,
called
it might
it.
need
I
to,
put it on there.
okay, then we might
You're
need it
just
to
saying it needs to
be,
be worded differently.
it probably needs to
It
be.
just says Linda Smith, 10-minute non-elected personnel.
Right, but it wouldn't be in regards to a non-elected person,
Right.
so,
And I may have misspoke, I thought we said something different.
so
Like that.
may need to,
We, what,
may need
didn't
to
we,
do something.
I thought we talked about making that contractual or something like that. That other, that was before your surgery. But we probably need to do it while he's here anyway.
Is he,
Josh is available by phone, he said, but I'd rather do it in person.
okay.
Laura, you can come on up.
You said you wanted to do distribution update earlier.
Yes. I was just gonna let people know that if you have direct deposits, the ACHs will be should weigh in this morning. The remittance advice sheets will be being mailed out or emailed out throughout the day.
So that's to all the entities.
Yes,
all the
that's all the
taxing.
entities, and then our Arvonian agency is made up for, money was withheld from 2019 to make up for the overpayment on those. So that way they'll be balanced and everything.
So the red will go away on their line.
Yes. Yeah. So.
So they agreed to just take a smaller distribution to make up for them.
Arvonia we had mentioned with agency quite some time back. I didn't get to re-verify it with him because of phone numbers and stuff. He had came in and seen me in the office back a long time ago. So, anyhow,
All right, well,
that
good.
way that's all back in line and taken care of, and we'll go from there.
Well, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's good to get those couple line items cleaned up.
Yes, yes. Now they're all pretty much balanced as far as that area goes. So, moving forward, did you want me to get that
Yeah.
while I'm here? And then this is one of my staff going from part-time to full-time.
And this is what that increase that was approved.
I put the amount in there, yes, both, because I'm not sure which one you wanted. So I have the original amount, and then in parentheses, I have with the increase on there, so.
The question would be, since you're moving this person from part-time to full-time, what would they normally make full-time? The same
Right
amount?
now.
Yeah, and so then in the right, this to changed status, that would be with what was approved here recently, correct?
Yes, yes, that is with what was approved,
Okay,
right.
just need a motion to approve the personnel payroll action form brought forth by Laura Hawkins, the treasurer, for a position change from part-time to full-time.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, no, no, let's do that. This is the 21st. There you go. All right. Anything else?
Not that I can think of right now. You actually had perfect timing as I was walking back into the office, so.
I know you're busy,
In
so.
between others, so.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then,
And there's that. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
that's done. I talked to Linda, told her we were doing hers next week.
Oh, okay, you want to move first?
Yep, Josh is here. Michelle Morris, financial letter, what is that?
Let's do next.
The other part of that, loan amendment date, that means that one goes to the state.
Gotcha.
Is that the one for the sail away project?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just received an email a couple days ago from Frank Mackern,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know he hasn't been, no one has sent him what we were talking about or discussed. He just said, I've not heard back since a demand letter. Has anything taken place? So I thought that what Ben presented to us, because Ben said that they were agreeing to all of the terms that,
Then Jay said he had talked to Frank and
was
everybody was in
it not
agreement.
HOA? Yeah. So, but Frank knew nothing of this, so I'm gonna let him know that we've already decided and that, as far as I know, what was agreed to is what they asked in their demand letter.
Yeah.
That's correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, what he had agreed to originally was what the contractor had agreed to as well. And that finalized it, and then we had to approve an extension, and then we have to realize that the contract, the whole cost was going to change, which we knew that anyway, because the whole project, and remember, nobody knew how we were collecting funds out there to pay for the project. People thought it was just a property tax assessment as a special tax. And so then we'll have to adjust the mill levy in for 26 budget
Yes,
to pay for
Well,
all
we
that.
do have
And
to
that's
just-
what this letter is stating.
yes, so we do have to decide how we are going to do that. If it's just part of the regular property tax, or if there's the regular property tax and the special assessment on top for the project, because there is that line in the fund
Currently,
from
there
years
is a,
ago.
right.
Like a benefit tax district or whatever.
It's a special
It's
assessment
a special
for the sewer
assessment for
project.
this
Yeah.
particular, and it was set up who knows how many years ago. I mean, it's been something that's in the system from years ago. Now, this is a project that started before I came on and has really drug out a long time for them. So, so it made me a little nervous when I know we've signed the papers, but then Frank said, what's occurred since the demand letter? So I'm gonna tell him that we were told by Ben that everything that was in the demand letter they agreed to, and then I'm gonna ask Ben, and I'll include Michelle, but if someone will send him that document, so that, I know they're gonna want a copy of whatever we signed that is going to the state that's in regards to all of that, so. I did not realize that he hadn't been kept in the loop with that, so.
Any issues with this letter? Questions, discussion?
No, this is a technical question. Will we actually raise the mill levy, or will it be a separate special assessed mill levy? And does that matter?
I don't know the answer to that. We're gonna have to have that discussion during budget time. But this just says that we will take the steps to, well, I guess it does say increase the mill levy, so if we agree to it, then we would be agreeing to raise the mill levy, which
Are we wanting to keep it
essentially that's what
separate?
we're gonna be doing anyway. We're
We
not
are.
raising the mill levy over the county, we're raising the mill levy over that sail away district, because remember, that's the one we always vote to exceed revenue neutral.
Yes,
It's already a separate district.
it
So
is.
we can raise the mill levy on that, and the rest of the county stays just separate.
Yes. So
Is
with
different.
that project, are we just wanting to raise the mill levy
We're gonna
on
have
that,
to.
or are we wanting to have the special assessment, which is what funds the project? Are we wanting to, or are you just wanting to?
Well, 6 one way, half dozen the other. Raising the mill levy is easier to track. Having the special assessment, we have to put a daylight on it. And we need to have a bigger discussion about this, because this is bonds and whatnot that's issued on top of grant funding.
What's the terms
So we have
of,
to have, right.
what's the terms of the length of the payments? Because that, if we do the special assessment, and you just said you have to have an end date, we may want to do the special assessment with the end date that runs in conjunction with the amortization payment schedule.
That's what we need.
And that might be easier for the HOA to kind of track, here's my property taxes, and here's what we're paying extra for this project.
Right.
That,
You're there, yep, but we gotta have that discussion during budget time, all right now. We need to get our information in, get the amortization schedule, get what we're gonna need, the actual cost of the project. put
so
it
does
all
this
together.
letter cover either option?
I think so, the way it's,
The way it's worded. I
yeah,
don't read
it's
it
kind
as
of
such.
open-ended.
So just asking that we're gonna take the steps to,
Yeah, we acknowledge it, and yes, we'll do it.
right. Need a motion to approve the chairman signing the wastewater collection and treatment facility improvements, Osage County Sewer District Number 1, Sailaway Subdivision, letter to Ms. Hendricks in response to ransom financial letter dated October 10th, that the county hereby acknowledges the repayment amount for the loan will be substantially higher than originally anticipated. The county will take the necessary steps to increase the mill levy to collect an adequate assessment to pay debt service and operating expenses.
I didn't get all that. You want to read it again? I'm just so moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That sense of humor's gonna get you in trouble. It did me. I love it. Life is way too serious to be serious all the time. Okay. Bills. Bills, we got Michelle, 10-minute executive session with you. Under non-elected. So this is because it's non-elected, because we're talking about a position in your office, correct? So I'll motion we enter into executive session, I'll move, sorry. We enter into an executive session for 10 minutes under non-elected personnel with all three commissioners and Michelle Morris. Is that a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 10:37.
It's warming up out there. Look at that sunshine.
Okay. Bills. Did you guys have time to review the bills?
Not yet, but I have a couple items.
Oh, sorry. The budget, calendar, dates, payroll totals.
On the budget calendar, I'm just gonna leave these with you, and I need to make a copy for Michelle. I think it was, Brandon, just a little history, I think it was in 23 maybe. Do you know if you have this saved electronically? Okay. I went to a budget class a couple years ago with, I think it was Ryan Atkinson. He might have spoke at the KAC, I'm not sure. But anyway, he's like for a larger county, like a assistant county administrator and a budget director. Well, anyway, at the class, one of the examples they gave out was a budget calendar where at the beginning of the year, they get together with the department heads and they have a budget calendar and then they talk through certain things and then they create this and it gives it out. And then it's just kind of a timeline for everybody and whatever entity they're involved with, it gives them an idea of when to be prepared for certain things.
Yeah.
So we created it, I think I created it late 23, because I'd gone to the class like maybe in the spring or something. And then in 24, we just updated it for some of the dates on here, statute dates. Other dates were things that we were customizing to our county on when certain things would be done. And then the clerk's office has certain duties they have to have done at certain times, and the treasurer's office and the appraiser. So it's all on one document. And then it also, something that I really liked when this gentleman presented it, was it also has like the taxing subdivisions, so like all the taxing entities, that this gets sent to them, and then it also gives them an idea of where they're at in this timeline to make sure that they're getting their stuff done in preparation for everything, whatever they have to give to the clerk on a certain time.
Yeah.
So when we created it, you'll see that there's some of them that have blanks where there's no colors. Because last year we weren't sure which ones of these we needed or not, because the county with the gentleman that presented it is a much bigger county, and so I think maybe they have a little bit more refinement on some things.
Yeah.
So I am just handing it out today, if you guys will look over it, and I've got to look over it too, and then if Michelle will verify any of the statute dates. But I'd like us to kind of finalize if there's anything on here we don't want that we think is not applicable to us. And then the second thing is I called Scott Lloyd, which, were we gonna talk about his contract? Because we didn't approve that last week. We didn't approve that contract with Scott last week. Anyway, I reached out to Scott this week for a couple items in regards to his contract, and last year they did, I think, 5 meetings with our county, and so we got those date picked and we put them on here.
Okay.
So I reached out to him and I just said, when are you gonna start scheduling dates? And so as soon as their budget group, they have multiple counties, so when their budget group decides when they're gonna start setting out those dates, they'll contact us and we'll pick dates. And so that'll get put on here. So that's coming, I don't know how quickly, but if we can I'd like to move it to next week under unfinished business, if you guys will look at it this week. If there's anything you're like, we don't need this, because we left some blank ones on there. And I think there's some stuff we can probably get rid of.
I really like the concept of that, though, where you put it in one spot and you can look through it and say, it's November, where do we need to be at,
Yeah, and it's got the statute dates with the different departments, and I also think it's good for the taxing entities to get it, because I know they've got to get their stuff done and get it to Michelle on certain dates, and I think in the past, there have been times where entities didn't get that done on time, which causes issues all around. And I think maybe they'd appreciate the timeline on here also. So I would just like to move that to unfinished business for next week, after you guys have this week to look over it. And then we also publish it on our website. We have on our commission page, there's like a financial documents tab, and we've got like the mill levy sheet on there from each year. We've got, I think, 3 years of the audit. This is on there, and maybe one other item. So I would get once we finalize it, we add this in lieu of last year's date.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I have is I went back and when we talked about approving, because we didn't do the resolution for the salaries, which I think we're supposed to do today. And I don't think we approved Scott's contract.
We did not approve Scott's contract, but the resolution, I believe it was you that had questions.
Yes, so
And
we
didn't get
had,
any confirmation back that you'd had those questions answered, so it's not on the agenda.
oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yes.
Just want to make sure you got them answered.
I reached, the one that I had the issue concern with, I reached out to Tanya and we had a really good conversation and all the numbers matched with her budget. Hers was dealt with differently because her raises were already approved in the budget, whereas all the rest of this wasn't. And so, once we talked through all the numbers, her stuff works out really close to what's in her budget. It's a little bit short, but she's got some flexibility to work with that and stay within her budget. So if we're doing the resolution for the salaries for the electeds, I'm good with that. I got those questions answered.
Okay.
Scott's contract, I'm also fine with approving. I talked to him and the 2 extra documents that he did the last couple of years, he said are included. I did have a request that it gets updated more often because the one report I really needed didn't really get updated at the same time we were trying to make some final decisions. So I did visit with him about that. But they're included in his price. So if we're gonna move on those 2 today,
We're
I'm
not,
good with that.
they're not on the agenda, but
Okay.
I will have Michelle
If we put 'em
place
on.
those on the agenda for next week.
Okay.
And with your payroll, knowing now that the resolution's gonna be approved next week, Michelle, I think you would be able to include that in your payroll. Because I know you're doing payroll this week, correct? The resolution over everybody's pay.
The salaries,
salary.
the elected officials.
So I think you could do that. And then budget calendar, I've got review budget calendar for 27, and Scott Wood contract will have Linda Smith on the 27th as well. I think she's been under the weather anyway.
She was here today.
She was here today.
Yep. So the last thing with the budget totals is, once I went back and with what was approved with the hourly rate and then department heads and the salaried, I reworked the numbers on the sheriffs because he had kind of a big group proposal. And then I did a rough estimate with the rest of the numbers, but it comes out to where we're about $56,000 more than the $300,000. So my question is, we've already approved the raises, so I don't believe we're gonna be going back on those. But I would like to know where are we going to identify that money coming from, since we only approved $300,000?
I think it's on the department heads or elected officials who are in control of their budget to identify that.
What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I don't feel like it's our responsibility to tell them where to get the money. We approve the budget, and they have the budget authority to spend what we approve. So it's their responsibility to stay within that budget. If we approved $1.25 across the board for everybody, it is the department heads and elected officials' responsibility to stay within that. So
Well,
if
what
they
we
got
approved is more.
$1.25 across to everybody, and it's $10,000 more, they gotta find $10,000 in their budget. It's not our job.
Okay, I don't know that they would know that. We've not had that conversation.
They should. That's part of the job. I have to do it all the time. It's no different. It's part of the job. If you're looking at your budget and you realize that I just gave 6 people a raise and it's gonna put me $5,000 over my budget, I need to find somewhere else in that budget to get that $5,000. There's not an ATM to go to. That's just part of the job. That's managing a budget. If they don't wanna give those raises and manage their budget, then that's when we step in, when they're gonna spend over. And then the audit steps in, all the levers kick in at that point.
Well, I see this as our fault because we set aside $300,000. While we agree on that process wasn't good, and I hope we don't do that again, we allotted $300,000. but we approved 356. So I feel like to be comfortable, I need to know where we're getting that 56,000. I feel it's unfair to put it on the department head and say, well, we approved more than what's in your budget. Now you gotta figure out a way to make it all work.
Then find it and bring it back to us and say, hey, I found it. This is where we need to take it out of. I recommend we do it this way. That's what I would think if I had the issue.
Well,
I don't have an
Okay.
issue. I think the department heads are gonna figure it out.
So the 300,000 came from the commissioner's budget or come from
General budget.
general?
Yeah.
we didn't deal with raises at the time of the budget, which we should be dealing with at the time of the budget. Again, so at some point, at the bottom of the page, there was just a line item that said $300,000. And
Sure.
then we didn't deal with it till the very end of the year, so,
Sure.
but what we're saying here, I think we need to then have a department head meeting with them to explain kind of what's occurred and what I guess is expected of them, because I feel like it's our fault. We didn't do our calculations properly on the day that we were figuring all this, and we approved more than what we had available to us. And I don't know that that's fair to the taxpayers if we're not identifying where that money's coming from. And just saying, well, it'll come out of the general somewhere. I think we need to identify that.
Then identify it is all I'm saying. And that is fine. You're not wrong, but identify it. You found the problem. Let's find a solution and bring it back to the meeting instead of sitting here with no information that we need, with nothing to go and having a discussion that is just eventually gonna get kicked down another couple weeks.
Okay, so I'm fine with adding it to next week. What information, what are our options on where we can fund it from?
There's a whole budget full of it. What's our budget? 222 pages long? There's 222 pages of information to find where to come from. We'll all take a look at it this week, and next week when we come to it, we should have a resolution. Is my opinion. I get frustrated when we have problems but no solutions. Usually when I find a problem, I try to find a solution as well and bring it to the commission. And in the last couple of years, that's been kind of met with resistance and maybe lack of understanding, but that's the way I feel like this should go. That's an efficient meeting. When you identify a problem, you identify the solution, you bring it in, we talk about it, approve or disapprove, and then move on.
I was just
That's
wanting
my
to have a
opinion.
discussion.
Right, and I get
I
that,
mean, But I'm not you, Les.
I know, but we can sit here and talk for 3 hours over something that never gets healed, and we've done it in the last few years. And it's a waste of time. It is a waste of Michelle's time, it's a waste of our time, the taxpayer time, it's a waste of time. I would just like to see that the problem's been identified, and now we identify a solution, and we spend 20 minutes next week talking over how to fix it.
I just think listening to each other isn't a waste of time. And I know you told me that 2 weeks ago, that what I was saying was a waste of time, a waste of your
You take
information and worthless
so much
information.
out of context.
Those were the exact words you said to me.
Yes, and there's a whole long discussion that went with that. Those were 3 words out of the 5,000 words that I spoke. But those 3 words are the only ones that get picked out. Do you see my problem?
Because I'm explaining my perspective, and your response
We need
isn't
to move on.
listening
We
to
need
what
to
I'm
visit
saying,
about
but
the
your response is that my
reorganization.
information
We
is
need
worthless.
to finalize the
And then
holiday
you talk over
dates.
me and don't let me
Because
continue.
Heather, as the chairman, I conduct the meeting. And when I say it's time to move on, I feel like we beat a dead horse. I've given enough time to discussion. Unless you want to go out there and filibuster and talk for days, it's time to move on.
I have one request.
Yes.
I would like for each of us to be able to listen to each other and have a discussion. Whether or not you like what I'm saying or what someone else is saying, we each should be able to speak and then determine if we want to move forward with something or not. That's what I'm asking.
I am not going to grant that at this time. Because I still stand that we have given enough time to what you were discussing. And we try to give the respect to it. We don't have a solution at this time. I've asked to go find said solution, and then we can reopen that conversation. I don't want to sit here for 3 more hours and talk about this. I don't.
I'd like to clarify that. I'm not asking to continue that discussion. You had said we'll look for it and we'll come back next week.
We're not doing this right now, Heather. We're moving on. Reorganization. Do you have the sheet, Michelle? Do we have ideas? One thing we had talked about last week, meeting dates. Did you kind of hash out a day that works better for you? There really is.
Nah, I don't, whatever you guys.
Then you're still good with Mondays?
Yeah, they're all hard for me, but I think Mondays is what's gonna work.
One thing that I had recommended is possibly a Thursday or a Friday meeting. I think it benefits Michelle better to have a Thursday or Friday meeting. And then we talked to some of the other employees. Josh, he was on the fence. Josh said Fridays work better for him. I'm just trying to find if there is a better place to have it so we can get more people here, or if there isn't. If there's no better time, we just stick to
I
Monday
cannot do
meeting.
Thursday or Friday.
Any time is fine, as long as you let me know. I mean, I did like, we kind of kicked around the idea of doing like a quarterly whatever, and I like that idea.
Yeah.
Because then you can get a different, if somebody's, can't get off work that wants to come into a meeting, I mean,
Right.
but that's not a regular.
So I think, Michelle, I don't know that there's enough evidence to warrant changing to a Thursday, especially when we have a city, commissioner that it doesn't work for them. So I don't really feel, I think Mondays maybe we're stuck with. Is Tuesday even a better day? I understand getting ready for a big meeting and Monday's the day of the meeting. That kind of stinks. Is Tuesday a better day? Does Tuesday work for you?
I can do Monday or Tuesday. And I can do either one of those. Mondays has always been hard because you're coming off of the weekend.
Right.
I can do Monday or Tuesday. We're getting ready to expand some at our office, and I'm gonna end up meeting there more often. So Monday or Tuesdays would be the days that I can carve out for here.
Does Tuesday help you out any or work better for you? I mean, it gives you a Monday to come off the weekend and put fires out. I've always thought Mondays were a terrible day for a meeting. So Tuesdays at 9 o'clock? Does that work for you?
It's fine for
Tuesdays
me,
at 9
yeah,
o'clock?
if it's okay
We
with
just
you
need to
guys.
reach out to Josh and make sure
Oh, I didn't think about that.
What
Yeah,
do you think?
we need to check with them.
if Tuesdays at 9 o'clock work. And then we can put in the resolution, one meeting a quarter to be determined by the commission. I think we really need to, I'm leery of setting an actual
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
with our schedules.
Well,
But just, we can set it as, no, we're gonna set one.
Our
one
intention
quarter.
is every quarter, yeah.
We're gonna do one.
Yeah, I mean, we have our regular meetings, but if we do that quarterly meeting, it doesn't necessarily have to be this type of
Right.
meeting, but something that's kind of a community outreach
Yeah.
and determine what we want it to
Well,
look
if
like.
I'm here with two other commissioners, it's going to be a special meeting. I've already been turned over to the Attorney General's office for someone's opinion about.
Sure, but we don't have to sit around and approve bills and stuff at that
Right.
meeting. We can
Right.
just have a loose agenda that's heavy on whatever
Yeah.
discussions or whatever.
Public discussion. And then. so we can-
Spitballs.
There you go. So then, we've got, what was the others that we needed to, Josh was gonna provide us some information about whether or not we needed to appoint certain department heads. Did he provide that? Okay, so I guess
I can check back with them on that.
the 27th, we have, well, no, we technically had 30 days from the 13th. So if we can get that information back and have it for the 27th, we can finalize reorganization. And then approve it, maybe even approve it that same day, if we could get those information, Josh. Because really, we've got the holidays that we have to approve. Not a big deal. I know we had some discussion, were we gonna include Christmas Eve? And then what was it, the day after Thanksgiving? Or are we just gonna make those approved in the reorganization? Do you guys opposed to that? So, in the past, we gave Christmas Eve this year. We approved it, a week or so before. And then was it the day after Thanksgiving?
That was on
Yeah.
originally.
It was on our original. But then didn't we have one where we closed the courthouse early, New Year's Eve, or something like that?
We always close 11 o'clock on the last business day of the year, or when you guys were done with business.
Okay, yeah. Okay. We just need to make sure that one's written in there as well, because we do that for year-end accounting purposes. Okay? Anything else on the reorganization?
I don't know, but we're gonna have to have a recess.
We are almost done.
Okay.
Actually, we got approval of bills, so at this time, if we'd like to review the bills, and we can take a brief recess at this time.
Jose, can I run away while you're?
Yes.
there were 3 each, I think. I've got 3, so.
Underneath your
Yeah, it's underneath your agenda there. No, that agenda. In the big paperclip. Yeah, yeah.
direction you want.
Oh, so we stuck it. Yeah, I stacked pages on it. Good one. That's why I didn't have an agenda sheet when I got here. I just had to get one out of the hallway. That's funny. Any preference on which one you want signed?
The one that has the box.
Holy cow, you got 3 sheets of paper here and they all match. What? What'd you say?
Sign 24C.
You don't have to sign it yet, I just handed it down the line.
Preemptive. You just signed the one copy?
Yeah, that's, yeah, all those 3 culminate to this guy.
I got a silly question. What's that 911 fee? Is that like the radio rental or something?
That's the same question I asked, that's a good question. 911 is actually a charge that, everyone that has a cell phone pays. And then we get and then the ones that we pay out to the 911, correct me, Michelle, that's for the services. So we collect it in the sales tax, whatever, and then it's paid to, it's like a membership fee to fund 911.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I didn't realize everybody that owns a cell phone.
I need to date it too.
I just dated it there, just for, I usually put that on there for when we're making a motion. Did you see anything, Heather?
Nope.
So I need a motion to approve paying the bills in the amount of $473,063.04, dated 1/23/2025.
So moved?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. All right. That concludes our business. I think
Do
anything.
you want all 3 of these or just this one? Excuse me.
That's contagious.
All right, need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
So from Josh, you have to say, I move.
I
You don't
move,
say,
sorry.
I make a motion. He made
Yeah.
that clear to us a year ago.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he gave us cups. He said, I move. He's like, you don't make motions, you say, I move.
That's right.
Sure
It's the
sounds like
reason
it.
I say I need motion, because I
Yeah.
need you to move.
So moved, yeah.
I like the old videos you can watch when they're doing that stuff. It's just so well rehearsed.